I think I just said all of that, and I didn't think I had my microphone on. Typical. Yes, we are talking a minute and a half to go, and we will dive into some Comic-Con news. Thank you very much indeed to all of the kind words that kind of jumped out at me when I announced that I was unwell. Bit of food poisoning, but thankfully, with a bit of sleep and a lot of water, I've managed to kind of get myself all sorted out. But yes, we're live, which means if you are seeing this now, it means you are a subscriber, which is fantastic. As always, subscribe, like, and do all the notification thing to find out when we are going live. Somebody is keeping a close eye on that because, well, around this time, we do talk. And we do get ourselves our the schedule, but fingers crossed that'll actually come up. You never know, while we're actually live. That'd be cool. We've done that before, where we've been halfway through a show and the programming has gone live. Usually they aim for around 10 a.m. Pacific till about 10:30. So we'll see what happens. But we've already got some bits and pieces already. We've got some news, and we've got yeah. We've got a lot to talk about. Let's also bring up my emails because heaven knows there's been plenty with that. That might have flubbed out thanks to Chrome taking up. But there we go. Right, let's hit the opening graphics and very random episode of Talking Con. When everything kind of loads, we'll dive in. Here we go. Let's go. Of the opening credits, because I'll tell you something, it's every single time it's an absolute nightmare. Absolute nightmare. Oh man. But you know, these things are sent to try us. Thank you, Chrome, for making life so much harder when it comes to doing these live streams. Yes, I might use Edge in future because at least Edge has got a bit of stability to it, believe it or not. But there we go. If you're watching, hello there, welcome along to Talking Con, a cup of tea with an Englishman in San Diego. My name is Len Sultana. I am an Englishman not in San Diego, and I tell you something, from what I'm hearing so far, I'm particularly upset about that because it's absolutely glorious by all accounts. It's yeah. You know what? I think if it wasn't for certain political things happening, which I can't condone or support, I'd be on a plane. Heaven knows they are desperate for tourists. I have a notification for the prices of flights from the UK to San Diego, and considering that at the moment they are in the ballpark of around £500 and dropping sharply almost every day. It could be even like 450 in a week's time. They are desperate for people to come and visit the country, even though it's like anyone from outside of the US who isn't white has got a target on their back. It's so strange, so strange. But no, I will not be attending, which means that what I will be able to do is sit here in my command bunker, which is what I'm calling it, command bunker. And I will be doing live streams and also updates throughout the course of San Diego Comic-Con. I'll be typing away and posting out to the socials. So please do follow the socials at Englishman SDCC. And yeah, I'll basically be posting if there's any signings, any surprise things happening, pictures of the show. And indeed, if you want to jump in and be a correspondent, if you want to kind of share your photos with us, give us a shout. And we'll do what we can to kind of keep you entertained while you're in your numerous lines throughout the course of the show, throughout San Diego Comic-Con. Woody King Pickle is watching on the old Twitch, which I don't focus enough on. Hello there. Nice to have you along. Those prices are awesome. Tell me about it. 450 to £500. Usually at this kind, that's return, by the way. Usually around this time, with 2 weeks out from a flight time, you're looking at the ballpark of around 8, 9, 4 figures to get returned to the US. They are desperate to get people out flying. £500, that's what I would usually, or in a normal run of affair, be paying that to get to New York. Insane. But there we go. Right, let's see what we've got in terms of news. We are waiting on the change of page at San Diego Comic-Con, comic-con.org, because, well, they've got their page, and we're paying very close attention to it, to be fair, which is the programming schedule, of course. We're going to keep hitting refresh on this, and hopefully at some point during the course of this particular episode, that will change, and it'll give us some of the programming for Thursday, because it is that kind of time of year where 2 weeks out from San Diego Comic-Con, we get the programming day to day. We'll get Thursday for Thursday, Friday for Friday, etc. So hopefully what we're going to be getting is the July 24th programming. I do know, by the way, I've had 1 or 2 people mentioning on the socials as well. Why are you saying that it's 14 days to go? 14 days to go today. So it's the Thursday. I can't, in good conscience, count preview night, because at the end of the day, there's now no programming. It really is a soft open for the convention to make sure the booth is actually up, all the electricity and the wiring is up and running, that there isn't toilets being blocked left, right, and center, and that security is all geared up and ready for the actual show. It is a soft open. Preview night is kind of back to being what it traditionally is. There was somebody on Reddit the other day that turned around and said, will we ever see previews at preview night anymore? And frankly, I can't see it. We're seeing a lot of the Hollywood TV and film and whatever dialing back, even just on panels and exhibiting on the floor, which we're going to get into. It's just so strange to have preview night without no previews, but preview night now is for the actual convention floor itself, to get everything all sorted. Thank you very much indeed for joining us today. Andrew Dickinson, his phone is dead, walking around Tesco's on a large tablet getting funny looks. No change there. Hey, listen, Andrew, I get funny looks walking around Tesco's generally, but I suggest that's the basque and the thong. Andrew English is saying hello, evening all. Yes, by all means, dive in. Let us know where you're watching from, and what your news has kind of caught your attention when it comes to San Diego Comic-Con 2025, considering that, like I say, plenty of stuff that's being announced, especially when it comes to the news as well. For example, we have had the latest updates, which we've posted on the conventioncollective.com. Thank you very much indeed for following that site, if it's somewhere that you do get some of your news. So, for example, Lionsgate are going to be bringing The Long Walk. Now, this is a book written by Stephen King under his pseudonym of Richard Bachman, which has been a long time coming to the big screen. And after numerous years of attempts at trying to get it up and running, we do have actually a film that's going to be coming in September, featuring the likes of Dave Johnson, Tut Newart, Garrett Waring, Charlie Plummer, and Mark Hamill. And as it happens, a number of those, including Mr. Mark Hamill, is going to be on stage in Hall H. It's going to be taking place on Friday from 3 till 4. So we're talking a Lionsgate panel, and it's going to be focusing purely on this film. So posted a number of character posters as well. The actual story itself, dystopian future, and as part of a test of the convicts of the dystopian future, they are basically forced to go on a non-stop walk, and it is the last person over the line, the last one that falls over, who gets their freedom. It is kind of the Walking Man, kind of. Nobody hunting them, but they are. There's police left, right, and centre following them down the road, and it is the last man standing, basically. So yeah, the stumbling man, kind of. Interesting that we've got two. We've got the running man coming from Edgar Wright, and we've got this. But yes, Friday, 25th of July. That's going to be at 3 p.m. And yeah, interesting to have that coming to Comic-Con, but also a franchise which always has a lot of attention and also takes up so much space when it comes to Comic-Con. Always has a firm, strong fan base, is of course Avatar: The Last Airbender. Well, they are coming to Comic-Con and celebrating in huge style, because they've got a mammoth booth, some 1,800 square foot of foot space, of presence, where fans can go and celebrate 20 years of Avatar: The Last Airbender. There's going to be a panel as well. It's going to be the first panel of not only the day, but pretty much of the con, certainly in Ballroom 20. But it's plenty of stuff that they're throwing at the 20th anniversary of Avatar. So the likes of... so this is at 10 o'clock, so pretty much first panel on Thursday in Ballroom 20. So it's going to be a packed day. I can imagine this is either going to be an overnighter, or it's going to be a real tough room to get into. They're starting strong with the programming on this. Zach Tyler Asen, the voice of Aang; Jack DeSena, voice of Sokka; Michaela Jill Murphy plays Toph; Jenny Kwan plays Suki; Dante Basco plays Zuko; and D. Bradley Taylor, legend, is the voice of Appa, and they are going to be on stage for this presentation, joined by creators Brian Conesio and Michael Dante DiMartino, and also you've got if I remember correctly, you've got Janet Varney, who's the voice of Korra. That's a hell of a thing. 20 years celebrating. This is Ballroom 20, 10 a.m. till 11 on the Thursday, kicking things off in fine style. We have got ourselves the programming schedule, so we'll get into that now. Yeah, let's do it. Let's get straight into it. The first thing live on talking about this, but we have ourselves the program scheduled. It does mean, however, that we are getting through it kind of initial response. So we're just seeing exactly what's going to be coming to Comic-Con straight out of the gate. What I am going to do is I am going to bring it up and filter by the biggest rooms, and let's have a look at what's actually been programmed throughout the day. We already know what's in Ballroom 20 first things off, and it does start things off with Nickelodeon's Avatar: The Last Airbender, the 20th anniversary panel. We've seen who's going to be up on that. Oh my word. I've just seen what's coming further down the line. This is going to be a packed room from the word go. Good God. Okay. So 10 a.m. Nickelodeon's Avatar: Last Airbender 20th anniversary panel. 20 years, 4 elements, 1 Avatar. Nickelodeon celebrating the anniversary of the panel, taking fans on a special journey to this legacy of the Avatarverse. Original voice cast and the creators celebrating the most beloved animated series of all time. Head to theconventioncollective.com for all of the update on that. 11:15, you've got yourself Jack DeSena staying on stage because the Dragon Prince entering its next arc. Saga creators bringing you first peeks and reveals, getting the meat of the voice cast. So you've got Jack DeSena and Dante Basco revealing a new major cast member from 11:15 to 12:15. This is Ballroom 20. One Piece Egghead Arc dub world premiere with Colin Clinkenbeard. What a lovely name. Introducing the world premiere of Egghead Arc Part 2 in the English dub. Be the first to experience the high-tech thrills, shocking twists, and emotional moments that push the Straw Hats cloaker to a world-shaking future. The exclusive screening must for any One Piece fan. Have you seen this? Ballroom 20 is going to be bedlam. That's 12:30. At 1:45, you've got the full batch of the Critical Role. 10 years and still rolling with Ashley, Marisha, Taliesin, Matthew Mercer, Laura Bailey, Travis Willingham, Sam, Liam, and moderated by Whitney Moore for an hour, 1:45 to 2:45. I'm trying to see when people are going to come out, because this is going to be a tough one. Love Avatar. Thank you very much, Neve, for joining us. Toy fan, hello there. Fandom Ventures is watching. Veronica here in Los Angeles. I know you are, Veronica. Thank you very much indeed for saying that. Andrew Dickinson's long work looks brutal, doesn't it? Just it's going to be one of those real slow burns. Like I say, it was supposed to be originally made by Frank Darabont, which gives you a sense of the tempo of the whole thing, and he loves his Stephen King anyway. Insane. But there we go. Toy fan is saying, yeah, B20 being this stacked on a Thursday is awesome. Sounds great, doesn't it? But let's see what keeps going. So Critical Role, 1:45 to 2:45. 3 o'clock. Oh, didn't want to do that. Let's go back up a bit. You got oh yeah, sneak peek, Pete Action's comedy Twisted Metal. Now, these are going to be on stage. You've got Michael Jonathan Smith, Asad Quibach, who's the executive producers. You got Anthony Mackie, Stephanie Beatrice, Joey Sanoa, and Anthony Carrigan. Exclusive peak of season 2 of Twisted Metal. It's turned into a bit of a niche show. This it's not for everybody, but it's got a hell of a cast, and yeah, that's something special. 3 till 4, but good to have Anthony Mackie back in the room. Stephanie Beatrice always a giggle as well. So yeah, excellent stuff indeed. The Strangers Chapter 2. Step back into this terrifying world of the Strangers with stars Madeline Peach and Gabrielle Basso, director Rennie Harlin, and producer Courtney Solomon. Be the first to look at a deeper look at this chilling sequel, a taste of what to come in Chapter 3 in this summer. The Strangers are everywhere. God alive. Red Sonja riding again on the big screen. Now, you may have quite a bit of a clear out at this point because Red Sonja, for all of the attention it's got, still is quite a niche character for whatever reason. But the She-Devil with a Sword is back with stars Matilda Lutz and Robert Sheehan, with alongside producers Mark Canton and Luke Lieberman and publisher Nick Barracucci, moderated by Felicia Day. It's a shame that Gail Simone is not on this panel, but she's acting as a consultant and a creative producer. Would have been great to have there, but Gail Simone is not going to be appearing on this panel. They are Forging a Legend. That is going to be between 5:30 and 6:30, and then to wrap things up, Collider Ladies After Dark. You've got Perry Nemiroff, who I believe is doing the. Oh, no, she is doing a panel earlier. I'm sure she was doing a panel earlier. But Collider's Perry Meninoff bringing on the Shutter releases of Crown of Cornfield and Dangerous Animals with Katie Douglas and Hassie Harrison, sorry. And get your first look at Forbidden Fruits with Lily Reinhardt and Whistle with Daphne Keane. Yay. X-Ray too. And Sophie Nellis, also exclusive look of the 100 Nights of Hero. It's a shame that panel is not like the women of Con, where they stick it in the middle of a programming, so it gives it a bit more of a spotlight, so people can't escape. And they kind of have to embrace the fact that there are women working in the industry. But 6:45 to 7:45, it's a nice little lineup. Is that is a strong Thursday. Good God. Okay, that's Ballroom 20. That is going to be packed from the word go, and it ain't going to let up. That is a strong start. Good grief. Okay, let's move on. Let's go to Indigo Ballroom, shall we? Let's have a look at what's happening over here. Okay, starts as it does traditionally every year. It is the 11th annual musical Anatomy of a Superhero. I remember going to the first one of this, and it has just become a mainstay. The first thing that kicks off Ballroom 20. Award-winning composers Ryan Lott, who did Thunderbolt, Laura Cartman, who did Brave New World, Brandon Roberts, who did Andor Season 2, and Mick Giacchino, discuss their scores with clips, and moderated by Oscar-winning composer Michael Giacchino, with intros by Ray Costa. Ray Costa is the guy that puts it all together and always has been the one behind this particular panel. It's a great show. If anything, you get to see clips of fantastic franchise, and you get to see and hear some fantastic insight into the making of these shows from the composer's perspective. It is a great panel, 10 a.m. in Indigo Ballroom, at which point you then have Critical Role on Prime Video. Oh, good Lord, they're taking up a lot of time on a Thursday, aren't they? Right, Critical Role, before they go over to Ballroom 20, are doing this and showcasing their animated output. Prime Video is The Mighty Nine and The Legend of Vox Machina, with Laura Bailey, Matthew Mercer, Marissa Ray, Liam O'Brien, Ashley Johnson, Tillison Jaff, Sam Riegel, and Travis Willigam, giving an inside look into the expanding universe on Prime Video. Get ready for exclusive breaking news on the upcoming highly anticipated animated series, The Mighty Nine. I would say you have to be a hardcore Critical Role animation fan to attend this panel and think that you'll then be able to go across the road and get into Ballroom 20, because it ain't going to happen, because you're going to have to pick one. Oh, God. That's... yeah, if you're a Critical Role fan, you're going to have to call your shot, man. 11:15 to 12:15. This is Indigo Ballroom. The Helliverse on Prime Video. This is going to be at 12:30 to 1. Executive producer and creator Vivian Medrano. Stars Erica Henningsen and Amir Talay. And Hell of a Boss series stars Brandon Rogers and Richard Horowitz hold a wickedly entertaining discussion with Hell's favourite hotel staff and murder professionals. The Helliverse will unite for the first time, so get ready for rocker stories, exciting teasers, and breaking news from Prime Video's hit series. Never heard of it. Have you? Are you a fan? Do you know anything about this? Get into the comments. That way. And yeah, tell us about the Helliverse. What's so special about it? Why does it deserve a 12:30 to 1:30 slot in Indigo Ballroom? Tell us about the Helliverse. But there we go. I don't know any of those cast. I don't know any of those people. But there we go. Jesus Christ, this... You know, when we've turned around in previous years and said, you know what, Thursday's looking a bit light. Bloody hell, fire. 1:45, Hallmark All-Stars. Step into the heartwarming world of Hallmark media with Chyla Lee from Supergirl, BJ Britt from Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., Holland Roden from Teen Wolf, Luke McFarlane from Platonic, Erin Cahill from Power Rangers, Tyler Himes from Three Wise Men and a Baby, Heather Hemmings from Roswell, and Will Kemp from Rain, bringing together beloved Hallmark stars for a celebration of feel-good fandom, from Countdown to Christmas Classics to the latest and newest Hallmark series, moderated by Damon Holbrook. Good God. Not a great deal more to say about that. That's good. That's just going to be a fun panel. That's going to be great. And then at 3 p.m, we have ourselves both Tony and Ziva on stage, and I think it's great that they are bringing NCIS to San Diego, because that's a nice little, if you know, you know, it ties in well. But fan favorite characters Tony and Ziva are back in NCIS Tony and Ziva, the newest installment of the NCIS franchise, coming to Paramount Plus this September. Series fans have waited a decade for Ziva and Tony reunited with their daughter Tali in Paris, only to be forced to go on a run across Europe after Tony's security company is attacked. So you've got Cote de Palbo, so Ziva, Michael Weatherly, and showrunner John McNamara, with Ryan Detson from NCIS panel hosting this from 3 till 4. Yeah, that's going to be another one that people are going to come out of the woodwork for, because NCIS is as popular as ever. What a show. What is this? 4:15, celebrating 45th anniversary of the Blues Brothers. Oh my God. You've got the new Z2 Blues Brothers graphic novel that's coming. You've got writers Luke Pisano, James Werner, and Stella Aykroyd, who's the daughter of Dan Aykroyd, joined by Rance Hosley, who I saw just down at London Film and Comic Con. He's heading over to welcome Dan Aykroyd on stage as they talk about the challenges and thrills of creating the new graphic novel, The Escape of Joliet Jake. And then to wrap things up at 5:30, Penn and Teller. 50 years of partnership with moderated discussion, audience Q&A, video clips, and maybe even a little magic from 5:30 till 6:30. Jesus Christ. Right, so your cut-off point is going to be Helliverse, I think. People are going to come out of that and head elsewhere, but then people are just going to pile in. Your 12:30 till 3 o'clock is going to be a kind of switch around. Hallmark All-Stars may get its fair amount of people in just out of kitsch value, but people are going to be in that room for Tony and Ziva, Dan Aykroyd, and Penn and Teller. That is going to be another full room from start to finish. Damn, that is a strong, strong setup. What's Hall H going to do to compete with that? Let's do it. Hall H. Okay. A little bit more sedate. Percy Jackson and the Olympians kick things off at 11 o'clock with a full cast and crew. Basically, you've got Walter Scobell, Leah Sava Jeffries, Arian Simadi, Charlie Bushnell, George Goodjohn, and Daniel Damer, with EPs John Steinberg, Craig Silverson, and Dan Schatz, moderated by Timothy Simmons. Percy Jackson fans come out the woodwork. It is kind of like the new Twilight in that it's a limited, or it's a smaller fan base, but my God, they're rabid. So that's going to be fullish. I'd say that's a good 2/3 full. But I think people are going to want to get in for the rest of it because, my word, look at what else is happening. Gabriel, Fluffy Iglesias, and Joe Coy panel taking over Hall H. I have no idea who these two are. Again, jump into the comments and, please let me know who Gabriel, Fluffy Iglesias, and Joe Coy are. You can rip me a new one all you like. I don't know. This is clearly an American thing. So, yeah. Away you go. Hyde, where the worlds of graphic novels and movies collide. Now, Mr. Hyde and Ridley Scott have joined forces with Mechanical Kate to build a new original entertainment property from the ground up. That's never a good sign. We'll let that go for now. Solicitor Smeg, that better be sarcasm. It's not. We've never heard of them. Dan Berry and Fandom Ventures, they're comedians. Never heard of them. They've not translated to this side of the pond. I will go onto YouTube and I will find out more about them. Okay. 12:15 to 1:15. 1:30, Hyde, when the worlds of graphic novels and movies collide. So you've got Jesse Negron, Dave Elliott from Mechanical Kate, Tom Moran, Jason Foreman, and Anthony Francisco. No Ridley Scott going to be showing up, but they're going to be talking about this new property. So there we go. It is very much in the line of a launch of a new IP, like you had with Berserker, but you don't have Keanu Reeves on stage. So how that's going to keep people's attention in Hall H, not entirely sure. So far, you're looking at a smaller room. However, there are going to be people going to be rocking up for this. Solicitor Smeg is saying, not just two comedians of the biggest comedians in the nation. Honestly, I will do some research. I've never, ever heard of them. Fluffy is a huge Mexican comic, and Andrew Dickinson is saying they're very, very funny. I will take your word for it, and I will look on YouTube and find clips, but sorry, I've never heard of them. I can't help that. You've never heard of, I don't know, Robbie Williams either, but that's probably a good thing, actually. Yeah, of course, this is there's two massive panels in this particular day. This is the first one for me. 2:45, you've got Stephen Weintraub, who's moderating this for Collider. Rob Reiner, director of Spinal Tap, Stand By Me, Princess Bride, of course. And you've got Paul Feig, director of Bridesmaids, A Simple Favor, Jackpot, and Freaks and Geeks. Now, the thing about this is, and we said this on a live show a couple of days ago, Rob Reiner in town for just this panel, unlikely. But you never know. It's Hall H. They do, at the end of the day, have a great conversation. Stephen Weintraub is a fantastic panelist. He does a great job of getting them out of getting stories out of people. So no, that could be interesting. At 4:15, anyone can survive the night. Can you handle more? Filmmakers and stars of Blumhouse's Five Nights at Freddy's 2 invite you behind the curtain of the terrifying new chapter from the highest grossing horror film of 2023. That's going to be from 4:15 to 5:15, Five Nights at Freddy's 2. But then following that, you have Toxic Avenger, Unrated and Radioactive. Let's see who's going to be on this one. Oh, someone's missed a copy and paste out. Someone has literally, they're going to have to mess this around. Because, as far as we're aware, the full cast, including Peter Dinklage, is going to be on stage. Oh, no, we know about this. So we've got Peter Dinklage. You've got Howard and Lloyd Kaufman from Trauma. He's going to be on stage as well. No, it's going to be a big panel, is this? It's a shame someone's missed out the copy and paste on that. But, from 5:30 to 6:30. It's saying Unrated and Radioactive. There is a red band trailer out there. It is going to be a bit sweary. Unlikely we're going to get that on the actual panel, but it is going to be a kind of adult panel. So just keep that in mind. To be fair, you've got Hyde, Five Nights at Freddy, Toxic Avenger. It's going to be kind of parents' discretion, if anything as well, because you've also got, wrapping things up, 6:45, Comedy Central, adult animation, South Park, Beavis and Butthead, and Digman. You've got Trey Parker, Matt Stone, Mike Judge, and Andy Samberg celebrating 30 years of animation, answering fan questions. That's going to be a bit of a raucous panel as well. I'm trying to see something that will fill this room, possibly Percy Jackson, possibly Collider's directors on directing, possibly the Toxic Avenger, and the South Park and Beavis and Butthead fans will come out of the woodwork for that one. But this is a lineup which I think is a little light, frankly, compared to Ballroom 20 and Indigo, which are rock solid. That is a little bit cooler, which I'm okay with. You don't need to hit Hall H hard from the word go, but that's strong, but maybe not that strong. Let's see what else we've got here. Let's go for all. Let's have a rock through and see what's going on as we go down. And let's stick with the programming for now. Let's go with that. So here we go. So you've got yourself. Let's scroll through once again. Please do pop through. So let's just make Fluffy and Koi Prolly will be. They are huge here. Excellent. No, that's going to ram that room. Okay, right, fair enough. That's what you're saying. Hall H. Those two are going to ram that room. Andrew Dixon is saying it's more Indigo for him. So there we go. Toy Fan, there should be a Red Dwarf panel. That's more niche, isn't it? I don't know. It'd be great. You know what? Red Dwarf deserves the bigger attention in the US for my liking. But there we go. Right, let's scroll through and see what catches our eye. This is the programming starting from Thursday, 10 a.m. Pacific. Let's see if there's anything that kind of catches anyone's eye as I scroll through. Do let me know. Great cartoonists and comedians we have known. Mark Vanier. Oh, God. Leonard Maltin's going to be in town. Okay, celebrating their stories with Mark Vanier, experiences with people like Groucho Marx, Chuck Jones, Bob Clampett, Bob Hope, Jerry Lewis, and many others. That's going to be in room 9 from 10 to 11. Nothing new about Mark Vanier holding court, but there we go. Let's see what else we've got going down. Spotlight on Stephen T. Tiggle. That's going to be in 32AB. It's going to be big enough. I mean, the man is behind Big Hero 6 and Bed 10. So, yeah, co-creator. He's going to be busy enough. Nice to have a Mars NASA panel. 2 rovers, 1 planet, celebrating or sharing the latest news and discoveries from the Curiosity and Perseverance missions on Mars. Might as well enjoy that before NASA gets completely and utterly gutted by the current administration. By the way, all the comments I'm thinking they're going to start coming up on the screen, so please do jump in. Let's have a look. I don't like how you said "ram that room" sound like you did a Toxic Adventure panel. Sorry about that. I'll watch how I rephrase it. But there we go. All right, let's see what else we got. Insight Editions, 20 years of Marvel's elite artists, Jim Fuscardi, and a number of Marvel artists to be revealed. Could be interesting. 24AB, that's going to be at 10:30. Okay, Science of Disaster Movies in Omni. That's a fan panel, or that's been put together. It's a little bit like me with my Miracle Man panel. Something we're interested in. They want to put it together, and they've put it over in the Omni. Good to see the Omni is back to being used again. Oof! You got a choice there if you're a comic fan. 11 a.m. Spotlight panels between Jonathan Hickman in 5AB and Paul Levitz in 32AB. We're talking to... Oh, and Alison Beschel as well. Good grief, they're backloading that. Anyone who turns around and says there's no comics represented at Comic Con is just the lunacy. Lunacy. DC All In, what's next? So you got Jim Lee's going to be on that. Oh, no. Scott Snyder, Joshua Williamson, Mark Waid, Chris Conroy, and Paul Kaminsky. Interesting. No Jim Lee, who is a special guest at the show. Let's have a look at this. Image Comics. All of this is at 11:30, by the way. So James Tinian, Charles Soule, moderated by Jim Viscardi, Jerry Duggan in there as well. So very much your DC versus your Image at 11:30. You pick your side. Is there a Marvel panel as well? Which would be interesting to have that happen at the same time. Comics on Trial at 12 o'clock in room 11. Making Comics Beyond the Credits box. TJ Shelvin. Hey, good friend. Right. Any panel with him on it, go and check it out, because the man is just... He knows his stuff, and he deserves to be kind of like a little bit further up the listing, quite frankly. Rachel Pinellas, someone I follow on socials. Very good indeed. Pat Loker, Kinsey Matthews, and M. Erdman, taking through the various roles within the comics industry you don't necessarily see on the page. So comics editors, content creators, production coordinators. That could be an interesting panel. I understand why it's in the marina, though, but that's an interesting panel. I like it. However, we have also got a close friend who came on the show a couple of days ago to talk about this panel. So Jendia Gammon is going to be appearing on this one, Star Wars Andor from Resistance to Rebellion. That is going to be it again in the Marriott Marquis in the marina in 10 and 11. Interesting stuff. We're halfway through the day. Okay, look, I will do my research, I promise. Attendees receiving an exclusive Fluffy and Coy Hall H giveaway. Do you think that's going to fill that room? Solicitorous Meg says yes. So there we go. Malcolm and Friends? No. A fun-filled exploration of the industry hosted by actor and comedian Malcolm Barrett. I actually thought it was going to be Malcolm in the Middle thing or something, but no. Okay. Shay and the Geek, she has done a Kickstarter with a TV show called The Comic Shop. That could be interesting. Nice to know that she's in town as well, so she may be showcasing the Comic Shop further in the programming, perhaps. Spotlight on Jim Lee. There he is. 6DE at 12:45. The man just knows how to keep people's attention. It's a shame he's not going to be sketching or anything, but yeah, that's a big one for you Jim Lee fans. Spotlight on Jim Lee in 6DE. Okay. interesting you've got those names lined up. There you go. Can't create like anyone else. Comics are for everyone and could create it in so many unique styles. Chris Cross, special guest. ML Faris, special guest. Todd Klein, special guest. Linears. Oh, they're all special guests. And they are doing a panel that is going to be in room 29AB. If you are a comics fan, that's going to be one for you. In fact, it's a lot of comics panels. This is excellent. What I'd like to see more of. Yeah. Okay. Robert Kirkman live. That is going to be at 1 o'clock in 6BCF. Big enough room for him. So that's going to be nicely busy as well. TMT Toys. Moomin turns 80. Brilliant. Toad Jansen's Moomin celebrated in a panel in room 24 ABC. Not a massive room, so that'd be rather cool to get people involved. CB Cebulski and Tom Braver bring in a whole bunch of talent on stage, talk about the latest books in the X-Men saga from Marvel Comics, from 145 to 245. Nothing has been announced about who's going to be on stage, but you also get an exclusive giveaway comic book if you are an X-Men fan. So that's going to be in 6A. It's probably their big comics room. That's going to be big. Nice to see 2000 AD represented as well. Not the people who I thought was going to be on stage, but Chloe Mayville from the Thrillcast and Steve Morris from 2000 AD. I would have expected Mulcher on stage, but you do have Jock and Lisa and Brad from the Comic Book Couples Counseling. I knew they were big 2000 AD fans, but I didn't think they were that big to be on a panel fans. Excellent stuff. Lisa, Brad, all the very best here. Fantastic. 2000 AD's greatest panel. That is 2 o'clock in 23 ABC. Big enough room as well. That's going to be a nice little panel. A panel about the Comic-Con cruise. Okay. Felicia Day, Jess, and Rob Perlman talking about going on a ship. That is basically a sales pitch for the Comic-Con cruise. All right, fair enough. What's this? This is all at 2 o'clock, by the way. I think I would more than likely. There's a lot happening at 2, by the way. Patton Oswalt, Jordan Bloom, Scott Hepburn. This is going to be in 6DE, nicely big enough room as well. Jerry Duggan, Jim DeMatteis, or J.M. DeMatteis, sorry. Timmy Heeg as well. Minor Threats, a roundtable with Patton Oswalt and friends. It's going to be a big one, is that? And 6DF nicely holds that particular room for it. Spotlights on Dan Jurgens and Eddie Campbell in 5AB and 4 respectively. The Secret History of Dracula and the Human Fly, put together by Jim Kruger, and also joined by a whole bunch of people, including Stephen S. Campanelli, who's director of the Human Fly, talking about the wildest superhero ever because he's real. Fair enough. It is a Marvel Comics panel, which I'm not entirely sure that Marvel would even know what's happening. Secret History of Dracula and the Human Fly. Fair enough. Again, if there's anything you spot, jump in on the comments and let me know. If there's anything that you think, oh, you know what, that sounds interesting. Banned in the USA. Freedom, Comics and Education. Very timely panel indeed. It's going to be taking place in the Central Library. Thing about the library panels, it's just too far out of the way, which means they don't get the audience I think they deserve. If anything, I'd like to see the Omni have 2 rooms open. And I think the library panels, yes, you could probably come over a little bit closer. Okay. We talked about that one. Tony and Zeba. Future of Doctor Who in the Omni. And again, let's see who's on it. This is mostly fans. Moderated by Sandro Monetti with River Alexandra Song, Karen Glover, Sarah Lynn Dawson, Cody Schoberg, Miriam Lip, and Christy Showman. First sign of Doctor Who that I've seen so far in the programming. Art of Comic Book Collaboration in Room 11. By the way, this is 3 o'clock. Heather Antos, she knows what she's talking about. Riley Brown, Rich Dueck, and Andy Schmidt talking about the collaboration of artist, writer, and all the people in a creative team to put comics together. That could be an interesting panel. Yeah. Drawing a color portrait with Alison Sohn. Room 3 at 3:30. That, I think, is a bit of a dark horse panel for me. That would be very cool to do it, to see. Jack Kirby's Fourth World. Rand Hope, Tom Kraft, Bruce Simon, Mark Badger, and Tracy Kirby in room 4. Not the biggest names in the world, but Jack Kirby fans will obviously come out of the woodwork. Dear me. I'm looking for panels with a bit of an attraction to them, something that's going to really kind of capture someone's attention. And by all means, please, if you spot something, let me know. So far, it's Ballroom 20 and Indigo that's absolutely getting people's attention. Superman, etc. The Repeating Sons of Krypton. Jim Thompson, Peter Coogan, and Andrew Fogel discuss how Superman's identities, Kal-El, Super Baby, Superboy, Superman, Clark Kent, and Son are separable from each other. This kind of character iteration is common in genre storytelling. Could be interesting. Room 26AB, bit of a small one at the back of the building. Drawing with Todd Nauk. Yeah, room 3. All the necessary supplies to participation in this Comic-Con how-to session will be supplied, giving you the opportunity to draw along with Todd Nauk. Interesting. Okay. That's at 4:30 in room 3. All Stars Podcast live at the Central Library. Could get some people interested in that. Okay. It's a lot. It's all a lot of comics, which is great. Rob Liefeld is in room 7AB talking about Youngblood 33 anniversary. So get your belts and take your shoes off for that one, so you don't have to necessarily draw feet. Future of Collecting, who's in that one? David Steinberger from Distillery, David Yu, Aaron Knowles, Shane Walsh. Could be interesting. Nice little panel there from 28 ED. I'm trying not to be boring. I really am. I do want to go through this. Please tell me Mr. Beast's not going to be here again this year, because he really did. He's made a lot of people unhappy, frankly, the way he's behaving. But okay, Mr. Beast Lab Unlocked. Learn about the design and creation of the Mr. Beast Lab toy line. That's going to be in 6A. That's a big room for that panel. But okay, if they're thinking that Mr. Beast is going to show up, I think you're going to be slightly disappointed. Masterclass in Comics Coloring in room 3. Who's going to be in this? Brian Haberlin. Man knows his stuff. Behind Spawn, Witchblade, and Hellcop. May not be the biggest fan of the artwork, but there's nothing wrong with Brian Haberlin's coloring. He really is the kind of guy that makes things pop. Likewise with Jim Kruger. He's going to be on stage with a number of friends from Nowhere Games and Comics. Jolly Lad, Beth Sotelo from Lady Macca, and Brock Smith. Jim Kruger knows his stuff from EarthX. He's going to be on stage in 32AB. In the Marriott Marquis San Diego Marina, Jurassic Park, liability for dinosaur attacks never goes extinct. It's another one of the legal ones, which is always fun, especially if magistrate judges talking about the legal element of pop culture. And you know what? Jurassic Park needs suing into the ground. I agree with that. Now then, I'm looking at the title, Marvel, DC, or Star Wars, who's winning IP in 2025? The clue is the fact that it's in the marina. Let's see who's on this panel. Don't know. Ringiverse takes stock of 2025. Who knows? Who knows? Barbara Dillon, Joseph P. Illich, Scott McCloud, Jordan Hart. Oh, that's a hell of a panel. My comics history in 3 issues. I've done a similar panel about maybe 7-8 years ago. I got invited to a con and we did that. You choose 3 of your favorite books to kind of define your comics history, how you got into comics, how you got into collecting. That's an interesting panel. I like that. That's room 9. That's going to be at 6 o'clock as the date starts winding down. Obviously, you've got the fashion show that's taking place as well, and the Masquerade in 23 ABC. So The evening is now in full effect, so the panels are going to really, I would say, have to fight for attention. Like I say, the Collider panel in Ballroom 20, Hall H, for South Park Beavis and Butthead to wrap things up. And then as we get right down to the back of the programming, how to bring your comic to life from page to live action, I would turn around and say is a bit of a misnomer, because at the end of the day, a comic should be a comic and a film should be a film. Hey, if it's translated, it's got to be translated by someone who knows what they're doing. If you're doing as a comic writer, though, or comic creator, don't start out thinking that you're creating the next Walking Dead. Oh, well. Fear the Future with Nick Dracota, with Nick Dracota, Chris Condon from DC, Chloe Mavell and Steve Morris from 2000 AD. Okay, interesting stuff. Nobody knows what the future may hold, but comics have always looked ahead with dread. Will we be invaded by aliens? Environmental collapse take us out. What if there's a robot revolution? I like that idea. That's an interesting panel, is that? 7 till 8 to wrap things up before you head out into the gas lamp and enjoy yourself. Celebration of Ray Bradbury, Foyer Ackerman, and Ray Harryhausen in the Merit Marquee. Certainly put together by a fan. Worst cartoons ever is always a popular one at the back end of the schedule. Jerry Beck. Don't panic. Douglas Adams Saw the Future. This is a documentary which I've discussed David's new audiobook. There's a documentary called Saw the Future as well. Author Arvin Ethan David and screenwriter Stephanie Folsom discussing the new audiobook, Douglas Adams, The Ends of the Earth. Okay, yes, I would probably go and see this as a Douglas Adams fan between 7:30 and 8:30, 26 AB. It's a tiny room. Oh, man. But no, there's a documentary called Douglas Adams Saw the Future, which I've seen. It's on YouTube. You can see it now. Plenty of programming at the back end from 8 o'clock going through. But I have just seen a name. And I know I've said about where I'd go and who I'd go and check out and what panels I go and see. From 8 o'clock in room 3, Brian Haberlin, Lauren Garrison, and Jags Nee, with a session moderated by Javier Velasquero, who was the How To department lead, who I've met and I know well, celebrating the life of Clyde Nee, who was the person who was behind Artist Alley for many years. Also a celebrated colorist and artist. Yeah, I'd be in the room for that. I'm filling up now. If someone can go along and film that, I'd be most appreciative. Remembering Clyde Nee, that's at 8 o'clock in room 3. And that pretty much wraps us up. You've got the likes of What We Actually Do About AI, which is also going to be at 8 o'clock. Some big names in the world of technology talking about how to restrain AI when it comes to the relationship with creative talent. For some, it's a tool opening new doors, and to some, it's just a thief stealing creative material. Comics on Comics Live in 26 AB, smallish room, but the guys from Comics on Comics doing their panel. And hello again, horror franchises. That's a fan panel in 24 ABC. And the 28th annual superhero Kung Fu extravaganza with Rick Mayers and Preston Downey. And also Frank Zhang from the Bruce Lee story. That's at 8 o'clock in 6A. You can tell that I'm a little bit emotional now, but I'm so incredibly happy that Clyde Nee is getting a panel celebrating her life and her contribution to San Diego Comic-Con. I'd hope that there's a lot of people in there wishing to celebrate and share their stories of Clyde. Wow. If you're a comic fan, good Lord, that is one hell of a lineup. But then your pop culture is being represented in Indigo, Hall H, and Ballroom 20. I would say between the three, Indigo has it for me. Indigo has it for me. Yes, okay, I am now going to copy and paste Fluffy and Joy, and I will now go online and I will go to YouTube and dig that up and find out more. Never heard of them. Oh, dearie me. If there's any others, if you are looking through the programming yourself, if there's any program panels that I've missed here, just scrolling through, let me know. See if there's anywhere that you feel that you would be heading to. Yeah, but personally, I think that is an incredibly strong Thursday. We have seen weaker, and certainly for Indigo and Ballroom 20, that's going to be absolutely packed from the word go. Wow. Okay. That's your programming. We'll do that again on tomorrow. Obviously, Friday it's going to be even stronger. But yeah, Toy Fan is absolutely right. It's one hell of a Thursday lineup. As day ones go, that is hitting the ground running. Good God. Andrew English won't be here tomorrow. I'll be watching Superman. I will be doing this panel, this thing, and then I'll be going off to see Superman afterwards. So, yes. Right. What else can we quickly talk about? Because there are some other programs that are happening, which people are interested in. So we'll talk about this. This one is happening on Thursday, which I don't know where I missed it. Oh, get it right. This is there is a panel that's happening. Yeah, it's on Friday. There you go. 6BCF, which we'll talk about tomorrow then. So this is going to be Chris Sanders, Maya Loa, Tia Carrera, and Cine Ajong. So basically the cast and crew of Lilo and Stitch. The film's out. It's been and gone. So why on earth would we have a little bit more about Lilo and Stitch, a film that's been and gone? Unless it's to talk about any future Lilo and Stitch stuff, or whether it's just one big group hug about Lilo and Stitch, which, frankly, it's a film that didn't deserve it. I wasn't a fan. However, you've got an off-site as well that's going to be taking place at the adjacent to the Omni Hotel, so pretty much on the diagonal of Gaslamp, adjacent where 6th Avenue ends. Catch a wave with Disney's Lilo and Stitch at San Diego Comic Con. Cool off at this fun, family-friendly activation featuring island-inspired photo ops and a sweet taste of paradise with a free shaved ice served daily. Whee! Between 10 and 7 and 10 or 2 on Sunday. Lilo and Stitch, A Taste of Paradise in San Diego. They are trying to ride the wave of interest in a film which has been and gone. Fair enough. To be fair, I'm quite happy that Chris Sanders is getting his attention, because Chris Sanders is somebody who, when I've gone to Comic-Con, I've been shocked that he's been down on the floor, in the exhibition floor, in the illustrator section, and no one seems to pay attention to it. But now he's getting his moment in the sun, as it were, with this panel. Thank you very much indeed to the Nerd Element for sharing that one. Let's see what else we've got. I know that there was a couple that Dan wanted us to kind of put a bit of a focus on. Let's have a look. I'm looking at basically my the emails that have come through. Oh yes, now then, Project Hail Mary, Audible is bringing a panel which is happening on Saturday. You got 2 panels, one talking about with the alternate narrators of Dungeon Crawler Carl, You Will Not Break Us, and Project Hail Mary, which of course is coming to San Diego Comic-Con as the big screen adaptation. And Ryan Gosling has been confirmed that he is going to be on stage talking about Project Hail Mary. So yes, that's a panel which no doubt will be coming along. But Saturday in room 6A, you've got the audio version with Audible. It's going to be taking part. So there we go. We'll try and post a couple more about these on conventioncollective.com. So please do head to the conventioncollective.com for the updates on that. People have kind of started fading away on the audience there because they have now talked about the programming schedule. So there we go. We did it. We got into it. That's Thursday. back again tomorrow with some more of the programming schedule as we dive into. We found out when it went live, about 1:15, something like that. I can live with that. So what we'll do is we'll go live, top of the hour. We'll talk about the news that's been announced throughout the course of the day. And of course, we'll go into the programming pretty much as it goes live. So this is going to be your first place to discuss the upcoming schedule. So please do join us for that. Oh, yes, I knew there was something. We haven't really covered this yet, considering that we had ourselves the exhibition floor, which I completely missed because, well, at the end of the day, I was ill, and I'm sorry about that. But we do have the exhibition floor map, which has been announced, which you can go to the TALKIN blog and see what is being presented at San Diego Comic-Con with this rather detailed map, which is has gone live. People talking about things that are missing and things that are being kind of enhanced upon. That Funko area in the top corner, a little bit smaller than usual, but that's because you haven't got the likes of Mondo to deal with. So they're just taking up that corner, which is adjacent to our Sally, which is pretty much what they've done in the past, but they have kind of leaked over to 5045 and 503. They are just taking over that corner, and it is going to be the likes of Funko, Loungefly, and that's about it, really. DC holding their 4545, so out of the way of everybody else, but nicely in the place beside Sony Pictures Television, but out of the way in the middle. They kind of like they're done. It's again staying out of the way of fighting anybody. Toby's joined us. Hello there, Toby. How are you? Good to have you join us for the back end. We've got ourselves, some interesting spaces, especially when it comes to Hasbro. Hasbro have already told us that they've got this panel here. This booth at 3213, but they're also going to be taking up 3348 as well. So it's going to be more a case of it's basically a space for, I think it's the Hallmark areas of Star Wars. It's going to be at 3348, and then Star Wars takes up all this space at 2913. So all the Star Wars fans are going to be backwards and forwards between there. Tabashi Nations are holding court right in the middle, but you've also got all of these big names. That massive Nickelodeon booth at 4113. That is going to be, considering that is, as always, right in front of Lobby E. And we've got our good friend who's going to be Chuck, who's going to be looking after that area. And I don't envy him trying to keep people moving on in that area there. So that's going to be an absolutely rammed space. There was somebody who I wanted to mention. We've got ourselves Alex Ross, who's at 2415. The only downside to Alex Ross is usually around this area, you do have J. Scott Campbell. J. Scott Campbell will not be at Comic-Con this year. He's not exhibiting for sure. But when it comes to your comics, you've got the likes of Marvel, Oni, Boom. You've got Marvel on the other side as well. You've got this bloody logo, which I absolutely hate. Let's focus up, because I'm not a fan of it. It's going to be a busy room for a busy area for comics, nicely organized there, of course. But Entertainment Earth, not. Let's have a look at this. Toby is saying, I've been so busy with my moving. I've been to all the stuff I usually do for Con at this time. Yes, he's heading out of San Diego. So yes, hope. You don't go moving when Comic-Con's on. That's an additional level of stress you don't necessarily need, is it? Okay. Let's see if we can just expand this a little bit so we can see a little bit more of what we're doing. There we go. Yeah. IDW is that, by the way, at 2729, and it is the crappiest logo I've ever seen in my life. So there we go. People have been asking about best rooms or best routes to take to get onto the floor when it comes to the exhibition floor. So we'll cover that really, really quickly, considering that obviously there are two ways to get onto the actual exhibition floor from the top of the building going down into the escalators. So if you're wanting to get right into the middle of the floor, right here in the center, so it brings you out by the small press pavilion, and it is the ideal way to get to, say Marvel, Oni, Boom Studio. Maybe perhaps you are wanting to get yourself your ESA pins, which of course loitering around this area about 1229, somewhere around there. It is of course into the sales pavilion. Grab yourself your bag and your books if need be, or your pins, or anything else that you need from CCI Official. Grab your pins, grab yourself a space in the line above Sales Pavilion, in Sales Pavilion, which will then lead you around the back of the building, down the escalators, down the stairs, and force you pretty much down this way. I don't know if they own those side doors, so I don't think if you can turn to the left, but certainly to the right, and then away you go into the main part of the building. However, if you get yourself to the Sales Pavilion and leave through the back of the room heading towards Ballroom 20, which is around about here, just above Marvel, and then it leads you down the back of behind Ballroom 20, all the way down, all the way down, all the way down, and then here above Hall H, you have yourself a bit of the back of the room, and leads you to what ends up being is now rather busy part of the convention center. Now that people know, it just drops you down the escalators and straight in to this entrance here at the back of Hall G. Don't go in through these doors. It will bring you into Artist Alley, but that means that you can then head either straight to Funko, to DC, and to any of the artists and animators, or even to Disney Plus 429, or if you're really interested, trying to get yourself to Nickelodeon instead of fighting your way through this room to get to here. So it depends where you are wanting to get to, as always. But you have the two ways that it brings you into the floor, either above the Holly Lobby G, or right down from the Sales Pavilion, straight behind Small Press. Somebody asked, there you go. What I would also, however, say, as I've said on numerous occasions, if you are not up for an exclusive, if you're not wanting to crush or get into a line or anything, or if you're not wanting to really muscle down, wait till the doors open, give it half an hour, maybe even less. Everyone will have dived in. They open up the front doors, and you just walk in from the ground floor straight in. Just tap your badge and away you go. You're not having to rush. You're not having to crush, and you're not having to get squished. However, if you want to get every second out of it, of course, you can dive in through the top of the lines that are forming at the top of Sales, or at the top above Hall H. So there we go. Right, an hour. I think we've done all right there. We've covered as much as we possibly can. Thank you so much indeed for joining us today. Hope you've enjoyed it. Back again tomorrow. We're going to be doing a live show as much as we possibly can every single day leading up to San Diego Comic-Con. Yeah, it's going to be as often as I can, but certainly throughout the con itself, I have booked a week off work. So it would have been the week I would have been traveling to San Diego. Instead, I'm going to be here, and I'm going to be doing a couple of live streams. I'm going to be doing something that you can kind of watch while you're in your line, ready to go into whatever panel you're going to, or waiting to get into the convention center. I'll try and do a live stream about 20 minutes before the doors open, half an hour, 20 minutes before the doors open. That means it's just a little bit of a daily show, giving you the updates of what's happened at San Diego Comic-Con, and also what you've got to enjoy of the con to come. So kind of like your live, something to hold your hand as you are experiencing San Diego Comic-Con 2025. Except I ain't going to be there with you. I'm going to be kind of filtering it all for you for a live show. Thank you very much indeed for watching us. If you are watching this after the fact, put a comment below, of course. Like and subscribe. Let us know and let everybody know that this is on and that we're doing this every day. If there's anything that you want to get in and talk about, of course, you can head to my socials, Englishman SDCC, on Blue Sky and on Threads. Let us know what there's caught your eye. What's part of the programming that perhaps I haven't talked about. Put it down in the comments, and of course we'll talk about it on tomorrow's show live around this time, well, around the time I went live, so about 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. GMT, and hopefully you can join us for another Talking Con, a cup of tea with an Englishman in San Diego. Thank you very much indeed. We'll see you tomorrow with 13 days to go to SDCC 2025. From me to you, enjoy the rest of your day, and we'll see you soon. Bye.